What's going on, everybody? All right, a little bit different video than what I normally put up, but I feel like there may be a lot of people out there that have questions about the long-term effects of Lasik surgery. Now, I had Lasik surgery something about almost 20 years ago-ish, and I want to go over what to expect when you go in, which a lot of that stuff may have changed, and what I did to kind of make my recovery a little better, or what I think made my recovery a little better from what I heard from other people in the building at the time I had my Lasik surgery done. And then what you can expect about 20 years later. If my math is correct, and I can kind of remember when I had this done, 20 years is a long time ago, but if I can kind of remember, we're coming up on 20 years this coming year. Now, I just had an eye exam like earlier this year, so I actually have true results of basically 19 years worth, because it would have been 20 years this coming year, but I had it this past year. So technically the results are from 19 years, but I've had it about 20 years ago, so I can tell you how I am actually doing today. The results will speak for themselves. Okay. So what you'll need to do first is go in and see your eye doctor. Make sure that you're a candidate for Lasik surgery, because everyone is not a candidate for Lasik surgery, unfortunately. After you've figured out if you are or are not a candidate and can or cannot have it, then you need to make an appointment with a Lasik surgeon specialist, whatever they're technically called. I had mine done at Selkin Eye Center. They had done a few famous celebrities in the past. I think they were out of Las Vegas and then moved to Tennessee later on, and I think now they have such retired since then. I don't think they're actually in business anymore. I think they retired because I think the guy was probably in his late 40s whenever I had it done 20 years ago, so I'm sure he's retired by now. But what you go in there, and they kind of give you another eye exam when you get there, and they kind of measure your eye and see how they need to perform the surgery. Now, one thing I want to say, they did this thing where you could have like a surgery for like $700 or something like that. And I think that was just to get you in there, because I never knew anyone that went in there for just the basic surgery and they didn't tell them, hey, you need the custom one so that you don't have starburst at night. And if you don't know what starburst is, it's when you look at headlights coming at you and it gives you like a big halo effect and stuff like that, and you don't want that. So they told me that, and I went in there, and this was the odd thing. I went into the room, and they was like, you really aren't a candidate for the basic surgery. You need the customized surgery. Shocker. And I think they quoted me something like $6,000, and I was like, no, y'all lured me in here with like $700 or $800 or something, and no. So they counter offered with like $5,000. And I was like, no, and they counter offered again. I think I wound up paying like $4,200 for this. I didn't know you could negotiate an eye surgery, but apparently I did there. But I forget, I think it was somewhere around $4,000 or $4,200. I can't exactly remember. It may have been a little cheaper than that. It's been so long ago, I cannot remember. You can finance this if you need to. I did finance some of it. And the day of the surgery, I went in, and they only did surgeries, I think, like 1 or 2 days a week. They were so far behind that they bought everyone in the entire place pizza and drinks for lunch, because we waited forever. And when you go back there, like the picture of the thumbnail shows, they actually peel back the top layer on your eye. Don't let that scare you. You don't feel any of this. They do numb it. They don't feel anything. And then they perform little slits in your eye. And what that does is, when the light comes in and hits the lens of your eye, mine was concave too much, so it was throwing the light off one direction or the other, and I wasn't getting a clear picture of the light coming in. So when they cut little slits in this, it actually opens that lens a little bit more and a little bit more. And that's what they're doing when they measure your eye. They're measuring how much they need to open that lens. The amazing thing is, I think this surgery took approximately, you don't feel nothing. Like I said, don't worry about that. You don't feel nothing. They do numb it. And like I said, I think the surgery took something like 15 minutes or something. It was like I was out of there in like 20 minutes. I mean, 15, 20 minutes, it was over. I could not believe how fast this surgery went by. And as soon as I stood up, I had like 20/15 vision immediately. It was amazing. Now, one thing I do need to tell you, if you wear contacts, you will need to leave your contacts out for a few weeks. I think I left mine out for like a month or two to let my eye kind of form back to its natural state, because wearing contacts, they said, actually makes your eye a little bit different concave or something like that where the pressure's on it. So you will need to not wear those for a little while. Just wear your glasses so it allows your eye to kind of conform back to its natural state. And that will give you your best results. But again, after like 15 or 20 minutes of surgery, I could see everything. Now, they told me to rest my eyes on the way home. I could not do that. I had to look at everything because it was so amazing that I could just see leaves and grass and everything else that I just could not stop looking at it. I was just so amazed. And so after that, they give you drops, like different drops. I forget if there's like 3 or 4 different drops you're supposed to put in your eyes ever so many hours. I can't remember how many, for like 2 or 4 or something like that. And they also tell you while you're asleep that you do not have to put those in. Now, this is where I think mine really helped me with not having any pain or any gritty feeling or anything like that. I still set alarms throughout the night for however many hours. I can't, like whatever, 2 or 4. I set my alarms for those, and I woke up. You don't want to rub your eyes. You don't want to yank. Your eyes will kind of mat together a little bit, but you just grab your eyelashes, kind of pull them apart gently, because they do pull that little lens back over, and while that's healing, you don't want to move that around, so be gentle. And I put those drops in every 2 or 4 hours, whatever it was, even throughout the night. I had no pain, no burning, no grittiness. I've heard people talk about having grittiness and stuff like that, but they followed the eye doctor's directions and did not do it at night. I suggest you do that at night, because I didn't have any pain at all, nothing. Again, it was probably 2 years before I felt like I could rub my eyes like this. Because I was so freaked out that I didn't want to move that lens, even though it probably healed long before that. If my eyes were itching, I just kind of patted them a little bit, because you only get one set of eyes. You don't want to screw those up. So that's another little tip. I didn't really rub my eyes if they were itching for probably 1.5 to 2 years at least. So now, that's what you can expect when you have the surgery. That's a little bit of the recovery, and that's my advice on how the recovery of what you should do and shouldn't do. Now, you can do it the way the doctor tells you to if you want to, but I did it my way, and I'm telling you, I didn't have any pain at all. Now, moving forward 20 years later. 20 years later, now I do want to say I went back and had an eye exam, on a follow-up eye exam, like a week or 2 later, and I had 2015 vision in one eye and 20/20 in the other. So I basically had better than perfect vision. So 20 years later, I went to the eye doctor last year, like I said, 19 years later, and had an eye exam. You are supposed to go to the eye doctor every year. I had not been back in 19 years, I guess it was. Don't do that. You should go every year. I just was too busy to do so. But when they did my eye exam, I have the paperwork here. I'll insert it. I still have 20/20 vision in both eyes 20 years later. I was amazed. Now, I do want to say I did have a little bit of astigmatism, and they did prescribe me some glasses, and the only time I ever wear them is if I'm going to be staring at my phone a lot. Doing YouTube, I do stare at my phone a lot, answering comments and stuff like that. Or if I'm going to be reading a lot. They do make words more crisp in books and stuff like that. My glasses do. Now, I don't necessarily need them. I don't wear them at work when I'm working on a computer. I don't always wear them when I'm reading. It's not a necessity. It just does make things a little bit more crisp. My astigmatism isn't crazy bad, so therefore I don't have to wear them all the time. But if I am going to be reading like many chapters, like if I'm reading a book, I will wear them just to make things a little bit more crisp and a little bit more easier to read. That being said, I don't have to wear them driving. I don't have to wear them any other time that I'm reading. I very rarely wear these glasses. 20/20 vision, 20 years later is pretty amazing. I've never had any issues. I've never had an eye infection. I very rarely have any burning. I'm in Florida right now. Sometimes when I go from the Tennessee climate to the Florida climate, my eyes will get really dry. I don't attribute that to the Lasik surgery. I just think that's the climate difference and maybe some pollen in the air that's different or something like that. I usually take like an allergy pill, like 1 or 2, and then my eyes kind of acclimate to the weather, and I don't have to do that anymore. Again, I don't think that has anything to do with the surgery. That's probably just allergies or something like that, but I did want to throw that in there. No pain at all. This surgery is definitely worth it to me. Now, you have to make up your own decision. Everyone will have different results. Again, consult your eye doctor before you do any of this. There's always risks when you have surgeries and stuff like that. I think the risk is very low. A lot of the surgery may even be different now 20 years later, and I'm sure they've even improved the success rate, but I think the success rate was like 98 or 99% or something. It was way up in the 90s percentile when I had mine done. But if I would have known how great this surgery was and how well it worked, I would have had this done years before I had it done. Now, I think you have to be a certain age. I can't remember if it's like 18 or 21 or something like that, because your eyes are still changing up until that age, and they want you to be that age so that you don't have to come back and get it done again. Now, I've not asked if the stigmatism can be fixed by a touch-up. I'm not really worried about it because, like I said, I don't wear those glasses very often at all. Just when I'm doing something long-term like phones or reading or something like I said. But if it got any worse, I would definitely look into having it touched up again. To me, it is the greatest thing that I've probably ever spent $4,000 on, because now you don't ever have to wear glasses again. Even if it's more expensive than what I would have spent in glasses and contacts for the rest of my life, just not having to wear those, the hassle of it, especially in today's times or in the last couple of years. If you've had to wear a mask at work or something like that, or going out, those things fog up your glasses. You don't have to worry about that with LASIK because there's no glasses to fog up unless it's sunglasses. So, you know, looking back on it, like I said, 20 years ago, if I'd have known then what I know now, I would have had it done even sooner. I would have had it done immediately when I was eligible to have that done, just for the sheer convenience of it, if nothing else. I just wanted to give y'all an update on this because, like I said, I think a lot of people may be interested in the process that it takes to have LASIK, and if you're a candidate or not, and the long-term effects. Again, I've had no problems at all with my LASIK over the last 20 years. It's just been great, and if you're a candidate, I recommend it. Like I said, there's always risks. I can't guarantee you won't have any issues, but usually that risk is so minimal that it's worth it to me. To me, it is. To me, it is because after seeing what's happened over the last 20 years, I can't imagine not having that done looking back on it. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments section below. I appreciate you watching this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you next time.